What's up, everybody? Nate here. So inflation in the United States is everywhere. From the things that we buy to the places we go, just about everything is being affected by inflation in our economy right now. This has led a lot of investors and experts and even average Americans to wonder, is there anything that we can do about inflation? Well, billionaire and legendary investor Warren Buffett has always had very simple ideas on how everyday Americans can beat inflation in the United States. Most people know about his super simple investing strategy. Just take a portion of your income every single month and invest it into an ETF. This is a passive strategy, and eventually you end up beating the big market volatilities in the stock market. And he's basically proved that making very simple investments like this actually beat out the big market indexes and can end up bringing you 10 to 15% returns for every dollar that you put in. And over time, you can eventually become a multi-millionaire, which beats inflation because your money is actually growing and building value over time instead of losing value. However, there is one other strategy that Warren Buffett actually likes a whole lot more. Warren Buffett is now saying there is one thing that is much more important than making simple, easy investments every single month. The more important thing to do is to invest in yourself. So today we're going to talk about this brand new strategy for beating inflation from Warren Buffett and why it might be the only thing that is going to consistently beat inflation over time, and something that just about every single person can do regardless of income. But before I get into all of that, do me a quick favor and hit smash or destroy that thumbs up button below and ring that notification bell too. Both of those two things are completely free and they help to show me that you like this video and that you want to see even more just like it. Thank you so much for doing that, and now let's talk about Warren Buffett's brand new inflation secret. So Warren Buffett has always been an investor. His simple and slow method of investing for the long term has made him a multi-billionaire over the years. And now he actually has an investment company called Berkshire Hathaway that is one of the most valuable companies in the world. His simple and slow investing strategy has been adopted by millions of investors, and it's a super easy way for millions of investors to beat inflation because they really don't have to do anything except for make money and then allocate it into an ETF or an index fund. This ultimately becomes a passive investment because all you have to do is go to work, take a portion of your paycheck, and then buy a share of a basket or group of funds, which is what an ETF and an index fund is. And it immediately offers diversification because you're now buying a basket of different funds and stocks. Those assets and stocks and bonds could be all from different industries. So if one particular asset or stock goes down, you have tons of other ones to rely on. This way, you don't have to actively look at your investments every single day on Wall Street, and all you have to do is hope that the stock market continues to go up, which historically it always has done. But Warren Buffett says that investing in yourself is way more important than making this passive investing strategy. He says that the secret to beating inflation in 2022 and beyond is to be exceptionally good at something. What he means by this is if you have a skill set that is so highly sought after and in demand, then it's always going to be in demand, and people are going to be willing to pay you top dollar in order to do that thing. He says that having a super high demand skill is inflation proof because even if inflation goes up past 8% or past 10% or 15%, well, you are always going to make over that because you are in demand. Businesses and people really need what you can deliver, so they're going to hire you and pay you whatever you need because you are extra valuable. And I think this is important for all of us to understand when it comes to value and educating yourself, because the more that you learn, the more that you earn over time. I remember when I was growing up, there was a lot of things that frustrated me because there was a lot of things in my life that just didn't make any sense. Well, as I grew up and got older, I started to understand things a lot more and I started to learn. And when I learned how a lot of things work, it made me a lot less frustrated because I knew from start to finish how something came to be. I am a huge history buff, which means I love to learn how things were in the past and how they influence us today. I love to learn. It's one of my favorite things to do because when you learn things and you start to understand how they work, you can then start to understand how things might be in the future. Not only that, but you are perceived to have more value when you know something because a lot of people don't know what you know. This has been the whole basis for our education system in the United States. The longer that you go to school for and the bigger degree that you get, of course you're going to be seen as valuable. However, in today's society, that doesn't always equate to success. The millennial generation that I'm from was told that you needed to go to school in order to have success. You had to get that higher education degree, but what a lot of us ended up finding out is that even though you get that 4-year bachelor degree, well, you still might not end up making a lot of money in your career. For me in particular, I wanted to be a teacher for the longest time. I actually went through years of education classes at my university in order to become a teacher. But what I ended up finding out was teachers, even though they work hard and they are super knowledgeable, don't actually make all that much money. So this is where the kind of divide comes in between offering value and knowing a lot. Because just because you are a college professor or you are a teacher or you have something that you perceive is in really high demand and is very important, doesn't mean the rest of society believes that that is something that's super valuable. So in order to make a lot of money at your job in particular, well, then you need to have something that is in demand. You have to have knowledge or skills and value that reflects an industry that is in high demand. Obviously, for the most part, teachers are extremely smart, and you can probably think of a lot of degrees right now that the people that you know are incredibly intelligent. However, they're not going to make a lot of money in their field because that field just isn't in demand. So I want to make that difference right off the bat. Intelligence is not the same as getting paid a lot. It's just the same as when you talk about art and artists. There are so many talented artists across the country right now. So many creators out there that craft awesome videos or paintings or music, but they don't make much, if any, money off of their craft. And that kind of really makes us think about capitalism in a really weird way, because we're grown up to think that nothing can be a hobby. If you spend so much time on something, then you have to start making money from it. But that is just not true. So I don't want to discredit all of the millions of awesome creators and super smart people in the United States. Just because they don't make a lot of money doesn't mean that they're not intelligent and they don't have value and that they aren't a great creator. What you have to decide is if you want to make something a business, if you want to make your hobby a business and you want to make your skill into something that's in demand, well, then you have to do a lot of market research. You now have to start a business, and starting a business is something that solves a problem for someone else. Like, for instance, think about this YouTube channel. I talk on this channel daily about finance and business news and things in the personal finance community that I think can really help you guys. Financial education right now is more important than ever because we have such times of high interest rates and high inflation, and the jobs market is crazy. People need to be way more informed about their money so that they can start growing their wealth and building themselves to be a better person. Money is not everything in life, but it is definitely a part of it, and we shouldn't ignore money at all and hate it just because we need it. We should embrace its role in our society and understand that it plays a key role in building ourselves up and building our community. But the reason I started this channel and not some other random channel is because, one, I have a passion for business and finance, but two, there is also a need and a demand for financial education and updates every single day. Sure, I have other passions in life. I love sports and I love music and I love video games, but you don't see me making a channel about them because while there is a lot of demand, there's not the same demand that there is in this niche. So that is all part of it, and that is all part of education too, taking the intelligence that you have and turning that into something that is in demand. That's what Warren Buffett is arguing here, to learn everything that you can about a lot of different things and then taking all of that knowledge and creating something that is in demand. Have a high value skill that is hard to come by. We're not talking about some run-of-the-mill position here. We're talking about something that only really you can offer. We are all unique in our own ways. So what can you offer that nobody else can? If you can prove that consistently, then you're going to consistently beat inflation at your job every single year. What you provide is way more than anyone else can. And that is huge. Now, of course, you definitely still need to continue to invest your money. Warren Buffett also offers some really good advice on that. He is obviously one of the biggest investors of Coca-Cola and has been one of their biggest investors for a very long time. He says that make investing simple. You don't need to do all of these complicated day trades and look at all of these complicated numbers day in and day out in order to be a successful investor. You just need to have the right mindset. mindset. If you want to have a short-term mindset, then yeah, you might need to look at all of those charts and graphs and numbers in order to be successful in the short term. Because the stock market is so volatile and moves up and down so quickly, yeah, you might need to do all of that. But in order to be a successful investor, you just need to consistently put your money into good assets over time. And in the long run, long-term investors end up making a lot more than short-term investors. And they don't have a lot of the headache that comes with short-term trading. Warren Buffett invests in Coca-Cola because he thinks this is a really good, solid company that has good fundamentals and a really good product. This is something that you as an investor can look at too. Look at the companies that you invest in. Don't make it all complicated. If you see a company that you firmly believe makes a really good product and has a really good business model, well, chances are that many other investors do too, and that company is going to be around for the long haul. So you can invest your money into that asset. Because once again, that company offers a value that no other company provides. I mean, Coca-Cola is a worldwide staple. Sure, other companies have tried to make soft drinks in the same way, but Coke is the staple for pop and soda all throughout the world. If you have the philosophy of whatever you interact with, including yourself, provides more value than anything else and is completely unique, well, then you're going to beat inflation with your investments and at your job. And that will ultimately allow you to build a lot more wealth and could lead to way less financial headaches in the future. But now I want to hear from you on this issue. What do you think about Warren Buffett's new method of beating inflation in 2022? Do you think that this is something completely viable in our economy today, or do you think Warren Buffett is wrong and is missing something? Whatever your thoughts are, leave a comment below before you go. But that is it for today's business and financial news breakdown. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date with all of the top business and financial news from around the country, our team puts together a free daily newsletter, and you can subscribe to it by clicking the link in this corner right here. And if you want to stay up to date with me and everything else happening in the business and financial world, I'm putting out updates 7 days a week over here on this channel, and I've actually got another one ready for you right here, so be sure to check that out before you go. That is it for me, everybody. Be kind out there, and I'll see you all in the next one.